Hello everyone, welcome to this beautiful October day. It is Talk Wrestling number 85, and we are fresh off the heels of a tremendous pay-per-view that TNA put on last night. No, I didn't see it firsthand, even though I did ask for tickets, and despite Aaron contacting a certain TNA representative through MySpace, through Twitter, through Facebook, through YouTube, it was to no avail. We still did not get contacted back about going to Bound For Glory. So we were forced to read the results online while Aaron went to Universal and I sat my sick ass home. But I heard it was a really good show. The Amazing Red retained the X Division title. Taylor and Serena retained the Knockouts title. Eric Young surprises the world and becomes the Legends Champion. The British Invasion apparently has won the TNA World Tag Team titles, although on no DQ it says that Team 3D won the WGP titles. So we'll have to see how that shakes out Thursday on Impact. ODB retains the Knockouts title. No surprise here. Lashley defeats Joe in a submission match, although Lashley got booed heavily according to everybody I've talked to. People in California love Samoa Joe. That's where he's from. That's where he started. Samoa Joe's awesome. That's where he's a former XMV guest. We interviewed him at PWG. He's awesome. Abyss defeated Mick Foley. No surprise there. Kurt Angle defeated Matt Morgan. No surprise there. And AJ over Sting to retain the world title. Again, no surprise there. For being the biggest show of the year, not a whole lot really changed about TNA in the last, as of this recording, 24 hours. One title changed hands, that going from the Main Event Mafia to the World Elite, so the top heel stable got the belt, and now the top heel stable has the belt. I don't know. Very confusing. Booker T lost the tag titles, which probably cements his status as being gone from TNA. Scott Steiner also. Again, we'll have to see how things shake out at Impact. No Kennedy debut, excuse me, Mr. Anderson debut. No Umaga debut. Rob Van Dam was seen talking with Dixie Carter. Crazy night at TNA, but you know what? Enough about that. This is about you guys and your questions, your DVD review. I'll get to that later. And, of course, the VRQ today. Let's get to that. Greg Smith, who, apart from Jeff Jarrett, has been the most influential person in TNA that previously worked for WWE or WCW. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has been the guy in TNA since he arrived there in late 2006. He's been the one to carry the company. He's been world champion most of that time. He's been the man. Kurt Angle is on top of TNA, and rightfully so. He's the one. He was that big marquee player that TNA needed to sign besides, you know, Sting, from the Old Guard. Kurt Angle was the guy that they signed that put them on the map and got people to go, wow, he was a WWE superstar just last week, and all of a sudden he's with TNA. He thinks TNA is better. Maybe we should watch TNA. Kurt Angle, by far the most influential guy. Right up there with him is Vince Russo, however. Vince Russo has been the one behind the scenes writing everything for TNA, been the one crafting all the storylines, and he's been the guy to influence the storylines themselves. So Kurt Angle's the top wrestler, Vince Russo's the top behind the scenes guy besides Jeff Jarrett. Both those guys. Kevin Daly. Have you been a fan of Jeff Jarrett, and where do you think he's had a longer lasting impact? WWE, TNA, or WCW? Word. Okay. I'm done being Jeff Dunham for the day. I'm back to Jeff Meacham. Okay. I am a fan of Jeff Jarrett. I've liked Jeff Jarrett even when nobody else liked him in TNA, when he was the uber heel that would not drop the damn title. I liked Jeff Jarrett. Of course, his biggest impact has been the creation of TNA, the forming of TNA, being the founder of TNA. Yes, he made an impact in WWE as Double J and as you know, having some stroke. WCW, he made a huge impact, being Vince Russo's #1 guy, being world champion there 4 different times. But TNA will be his legacy. TNA, its formation, its, you know, rise to power, so to speak, its attempt to take over the wrestling world and attempt to compete with WWE, that'll be Jeff Jarrett's legacy forever and a day. And he's had the most impact there by far. Alright, today's DVD review comes from Eric M-A-Z-Z-E-I. I'm not even going to try to say that name. I apologize, Eric. But he wanted to see a review of the spectacular legacy of the AWA. Here it is, right here. I found myself surprisingly liking this DVD. I wasn't a fan of the AWA when I first discovered it in reruns on ESPN Classics, but I liked the presentation of this DVD. I liked the interviews with Vern and Greg Gagne, with Hogan, with Mean Gene, with Bockwinkel, with all those guys. I found myself liking this a hell of a lot. I find it kind of messed up that the Legacy of the AWA DVD doesn't have Vern Gagne on the cover or Nick Bockwinkel on the cover, when both of them held the championship more times than I've held, you know, ingrown fingernails. Kind of messed up. They are on the covers in here. Bockwinkel, Baron von Raschke, and Vern Gagne there. And on here it's Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan. Very well laid out, very well presented. I like the presentation of the cover itself. Very well done. I like the cover. I like the different stars that went on to become bigger stars when they left the AWA. Kind of ironic. The interviews are really well presented. I like the fact that, you know, it wasn't a total dig on the AWA and a total, you know, squash job of the company. The fact that WWE recognized it as a competitor, as a leading company in the United States for the better part of 30 years. Was really classy, I thought. I haven't seen Rise and Fall of WCW yet, so I don't know how well they did on WCW. They did really well on ECW. They did very well on that, and did really well on this AWA DVD. So I recommend it. Recommend it heavily. Go rent it, and if you don't like it, then that's your choice. I've had a lot of requests for TNA DVDs. The only bad part about TNA, I only have 3. I have the Kurt Angle Champion DVD, and I have both Phenomenal AJ Styles DVDs. That's the only ones I have, and I'm sorry, I just haven't been to Best Buy to get TNA DVDs yet, and quite frankly, they don't really appeal to me. I'm not a fan of TNA-produced DVDs. I probably will get Bound for Glory this year, because I really wanted to see it. So I'll probably have Aaron Netflix it and see if I can watch it. Other than I don't have TNA DVDs, so if you want me to watch TNA DVDs, I'll borrow one of Aaron's. I think Aaron only has one, and I'll do mine. That's about it. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Alright, this one is from Kevin, either Brassard or Brassard, or I don't know how to say it, B-R-A-S-S-A-R-D. Sorry about that, Kevin. If you could choose 10 wrestlers to put in the WWE Hall of Fame, who would they be? Well, unlike most of the questions, I actually went through and looked at this one because I wanted to have my answers thought out and concise and ready to go, instead of going, like I always do. Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Honky Tonk Man, who deserved it over for Coco Beware. I'll say that till the day I die. The fact that Honky inducted Coco before Honky got inducted was bullshit. Ravishing Rick Rude, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, and I'll even go you one further with that, British Bulldog and Dynamite Kid as the British Bulldogs together. They both deserve it. Owen Hart, and 2 active guys that deserve it when they retire, if not while they're active like Ric Flair did, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Here's my picks. What are your picks? Let me know on the YouTube comment board or on Facebook or whatever. Let me know. This is from our old buddy Greg Cherry. When do you see the WWE ending the guest host concept, and what celebrities would you like to see host that would actually do well? By the way, I know you hate me for this, but go Yankees. As I speak, the Yankees are playing the Angels in the living room, in the TV there. I don't know what the score is, but my luck, the Angels are losing just to make Greg Cherry. And by the way, Greg, you're from Pennsylvania, you moron. I know you've been a Yankees fan your whole life, but root for the Pirates. Come on. The Pirates need all the help they can get. You know, I'm digging on him now. He's a Steelers fan. The Steelers are the best team in football. He's a Penguins fan. The Penguins won the Cup last year. Greg Cherry just finds a way to get it to me every time. I love Greg Cherry. I don't know if they'll actually end the guest. I don't see a reason to end the guest host concept. It's you know, it's getting ratings here and there. It's getting people a chance to produce you know, ratings for their movies and, you know, buy rates for their movies and you know, ticket sales and whatnot. And you know, WWE is getting mainstream coverage by doing this. Snoop Dogg was on the other night and did very well. You know, a lot of guys doing real. A lot of celebrities guest hosts are stupid. I admit that wholeheartedly. But you know, for the most part, they've done for pretty well. So I don't see a reason to end it anytime soon. I don't see a reason why they would do it. So I say go for it. Keep going, WWE. Lots of Kevins today. This one is from Kevin Car Going By Stanfield. Sorry, Kevin. This is a very topical question right now. I appreciate this question. How do you think Shane McMahon's resignation from WWE will affect the company? Also, with Shane gone, who will take over after Vince passes? It's been the talk of the wrestling world, the fact that Shane McMahon has resigned from WWE and will be leaving as of January 1st of next year. Very shocking, very surprising development in the world of wrestling and WWE. The fact that Shane McMahon is leaving the company he's grown up in since he was a child. The fact that he's worked with WWE off and on since WrestleMania 6, which was, 20 years ago almost now. He's moving on to different things, which is surprising. It will affect the company tremendously. He's in charge of global programming, which, he does all the overseas tours. He does all the global marketing, all the, the global television that they produce every week. Huge influence on the company, the fact that he's going to be gone. Nobody, I think, will be able to fill the shoes of Shane McMahon quite like Shane McMahon did in that role. As far as taking over, well, it's been said many times that Shane is not going to be the guy to take over the entire company once Vince passes. It's going to be Stephanie, and to a lesser extent, but still involved, Hunter. Triple H. Those two will be running the company, no doubt now. Now, Vince is still with the company, but Linda has resigned to run for Senate, and Shane has now resigned. It's pretty much a lock that Stephanie and Triple H are going to run the company in the wake of Vince McMahon's passing when that happens. If that ever happens. He may live to 165 the way he's going. He's in good shape, and he's crazy. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how this will all play out. Again, I talked about Impact playing out this week with the TNA stuff, but with WWE losing Shane McMahon as of January 1st, they lose a great player. They lose a tremendous talent, not only out of the ring, but also inside the ring when he would compete. He was great. Great heel, and I'll be sorry to see him go. He's one of the guys I grew up watching in the Attitude Era, so when I was in high school. So it's very hard for me to accept the fact he's going to be gone. It's going to suck. This is from Talon Williams. Hey Jeff, I was just thinking, with all these recent title changes as of late, what do you think it means more to a wrestler's career? Holding the title a certain number of times, or holding the title for a long period of time? For example, Chris Jericho is a 9-time Intercontinental Champion, but Honky Tonk Man is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history. Or Ric Flair holding the world title 16 times, Bruno Sammartino held the world title for 8 years. I understand that nowadays the belts are mainly props, but in your opinion, what do you feel is better for a wrestler's career? In this day and age, people don't want to see long-term champions. And what I mean by that is, Cena was champion for how long? From April 05 until January 06, and then again from September 06 to October 07, and the fans hated it. Fans don't want to see a long-term world champion or a long-term any champion. They want to see the titles change hands. Not as much as they have been by any means. I mean, what did we say, Aaron? 15 title changes, world title changes this year between the World and WWE Championships. And TNA has been pretty consistent with their world title changes. They've had it, not so crazy. It's ridiculous if the title changes hands that many times. However, 3, 4, maybe 5 world title changes in a year, that makes sense. Have it happen once every few pay-per-views. WrestleMania should happen, I think. That way they start all over again and do the whole course again. But I don't think for any reason that it should change hands so often as it has been. What means more to a wrestler's career? It depends what wrestler you ask. Jericho will be very happy to tell you he's a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. But the Honky Tonk Man will be happy to say he's the longest reigning champion of all time. Bruno Sammartino, back in his heyday, it was awesome that he was champion that long, 7.5 years. He was an incredible world champion for his time. Bob Backlund was champion for 6 years, unless you count the thing in Japan, which nobody does. Hogan was champion for 4 years. That was incredible. But in this day and age, I think it's better to hold the title and just be a champion for any length of time than it is to hold it for an indefinite long time or hold it so many times. Alright, today's VRQ comes from, where was it? There it is, Matt Dunner. Let's see what he has to say.
Jeff Meacham, Mr. Talk Wrestling. I am your next VRQ. I have a good one for you, Jeff. So here it goes. Jeff, Do you think with WWE's no blood and violence policy that it would be an awesome time for someone like Paul Heyman to bring back another up-and-coming ECW?
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Aaron, for your editing purposes, 51 seconds into the VRQ, okay? I think what you're trying to say is with the no blood policy, would Paul Heyman be successful with a hardcore federation coming back? I don't think the fans really, I mean, the true WWE fans are kind of like whatever about the policy, but they also realize that this is a more tame environment than it used to be. You know, back in the Attitude Era, everybody was about blood and guts and sex and violence and drugs and the whole thing. And now the world is trying to clean itself up, especially the United States. And Paul, in particular, has no interest in doing a company his own self. I think he said that more than once. He's happy doing the Heyman Hustle, which I heavily promote. HeymanHustle.com, I believe, is the website. If not, I apologize, Paul. You can find him on Facebook at Paul Heyman, the Heyman Hustle. Great show. He's had a lot of great guests on that show. I promote it for sure. I'd love to have it on the show. I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to be on his show. He friended me on MySpace, which I found very nice. I don't think Paul's going to return to promoting, return to booking, return to running his own fed. He doesn't want that kind of headache anymore. He was happy with ECW, and I think the demise of ECW and his being kicked out of WWE, running the ECW brand, kind of demoralized him, if you will. So very, very unlikely you'll see Paul ever go back to promoting or booking or whatever in a wrestling company. If TNA gives him the right deal, maybe. If WWE gives him the right deal, maybe. But I highly doubt it. Alejandro Rivera wants to know my opinion. What is the best street fight in WWF, WWE history? I know many people will say Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at SummerSlam 2002, but I feel Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle at King of the Ring 2001 is far and away the best. Let me know your opinion. The best street fight, in my opinion, is what the majority of the world thinks, like you said here, Alejandro. That is Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at SummerSlam 2002. That was just an out-and-out fight, a war between two guys that hated each other, and wanted to cripple the other to the point of no return. Shawn Michaels did win the match, but Triple H got the last word by hitting him with the sledgehammer and putting him out of action for 3 months. Just well laid out, well thought out, great build-up, great aftermath. The feud lasted for 4 years after that. They didn't get back together until June of '06 when DX reunited. That's an incredible timeline. Great timeline of things to happen, and it's just very well done. And that initial street fight was the start of it all. So I say that one. Sorry about Angle and Shane. That was really good too. The fact that the only trouble I had with that is there was so many botched spots with the glass and with Angle breaking his tailbone almost. Too many botched spots in that one for me. This is from WWE JTH. What are your top 5 entrance themes of all time? Again, I thought this one out. Number 5, DX. Number 4, NWO. Number 3 is a indie theme, but I love it because it's it uses a song when I was a kid. The Magnum PI theme, Joey Ryan, Who Wants a Mustache Ride. It's awesome. Go find it on Joey Ryan's MySpace. It used to be Joey, well, I forget what Joey's MySpace is now, but he has it on there. Joey Ryan, the wrestler. Look it up on MySpace. Number 2, another indie theme, Bryan Danielson, American Dragons theme, Final Countdown by Europe. Look it up. The artist is Europe. The song is Final Countdown. Great song. And the number 1, of course, what else would I pick but Real American by Derringer. Originally written for the U.S. Express, but stolen by the Hulkster in the early 80s. There you go. I apologize again for the mispronunciation of the phrase here. Mike Faucher. Faucher. It's just Faucher. F-A-U-C-H-E-R. Sorry, Mike. What's your take on backyard wrestling? I've kind of lightened up on my take of backyard wrestling as of the last few months. I have friends that are heavily involved in backyard wrestling, including some guys that watch this show, and they take very good care to not hurt themselves and not do, you know, the glorified, you know, light tubes and fire and, you know, multiple chair shots and this like that. They do wrestling holds. They do wrestling moves. They do wrestling things. They don't sit there and gouge each other with weaponry. So that part I don't mind. When you see the stuff you see on 2020 and the you know, the date lines and all that, where people are hitting each other with, you know, fluorescent light tubes and, you know, barbed wire and, you know, cheese graters and all that other shit, that I can't stand, because that's just senseless barbarity, excuse me. Even the stuff, I mean, Monsters Ball the other night was pretty crazy, but that's Mick Foley and Abyss, two trained professionals that know what they're doing in there also. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see two kids out in their backyard using barbed wire boards and, you know, barbed wire wrapped baseball bats and, you know, thumbtack. That's the thumbtacks. Thumbtacks are the worst, man. Thumbtacks hurt. You ever stuck yourself with a thumbtack? That's a bitch. Hurts. I don't recommend that to anybody. So it depends what kind of backyard wrestling you're talking about. General wrestling stuff, okay, that's one thing. The barbarity, the horrible, you know, total hardcore stuff, that's a whole other thing entirely. This is from Kyle Mills. Why do you hate the Ultimate Warrior? What do you have against him? Well, I don't hate the Warrior, because hate means I want him to die, and I don't want the I don't wish death on anybody except a very select few, and that's only because they wish death on me first, or they wish harm on me. Warrior, in my opinion, was more smoke and mirrors and more flash in the pan than substance and true talent. The fact that he got the rub from Hogan at WrestleMania 6 and did nothing with it except have a mediocre title run speaks volumes. And the fact that he's done nothing but complain since he left the WWF in 1996, again, speaks volumes to me. Warrior is a whiner, he's a complainer, he's a hypocrite because he speaks badly about the business that made him what he is, whatever he is today. Plus, he's weird. He changed his name to Warrior. He's not even Jim Hellwig anymore, Brian James Hellwig, whatever. He's just Warrior. That's bizarre. He's just a weird dude. That's going to do it for Talk Wrestling number 85. Again, thank you all for watching and for subscribing. As of this taping, as of this looking right now, we are at 9,726 subscribers. We are almost there, people. 10,000. You know what? Let's set a better goal. Let's do by the end of October. 10,000. No, I'm kidding. That's a lot of subscribers in a couple weeks. 10,000 by the end of November? December's only a month extra. I think we can do 10,000 by the end of November, people. What do you think? Can we do that? Let's see it, make it happen. This Sunday, NoDQ.com will have exclusive coverage of WWE Pay-Per-View Bragging Rights, which will feature that 14-man tag team match, The Miz versus John Morrison as well, and a whole bunch more. Check it out at NoDQ.com, starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The pre-show will be on WWE.com, I'm sure. But NoDQ.com for your exclusive play-by-play coverage. And for that, we'll wrap up episode 85 of Talk Wrestling. We'll see you next time for episode 86.